This is the mirror tap MTX 1015, which I purchased from Blendmount. The purpose of which is to get power from your powered mirror rather than doing a conventional hardwire that goes down into your fuse box. So again, I got this from Blendmount. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but it is one of the better units you can get. And also, each one of these optional leads has of the red leads has an integrated fuse for additional protection for your device. Here's your RJ11 connector, which would go into your radar detector for power. Here's a red and black side, which the narrow end of these would go in. You have 4 different sizes for red, 4 different sizes for black, which is your ground. And you'll pretty much determine which one fits best into the back of the Molex connector on the back of your powered mirror. Once you determine which size, then you're going to get your multimeter out and determine which is the ground and which is the switched power. You can have a look at pause and have a look at the instructions. It tells you pretty much everything about doing that, although I'll try to give you a brief explanation of what it says. And this tells you about the inline fuse on the reds. But anyway, once you've established your ground and power, you're going to again put this on the back of here. You can use either your shrink wrap or the electrical tape. For the shrink wrap, of course, you'll need like some sort of heat, like a heat gun or a soldering iron to melt that onto the point where it connects the 2 ends. And then you can use one of the included cable ties to tie this to the wiring harness on the back of your mirror to secure that so it doesn't pull out. Some quick insight on how to use your multimeter to find the ground. You'll put your multimeter on the continuity setting, which is when you have both the red and black leads and you hear a beep. You'll then test each of the back of the wires on your Molex connector, with the other end connected to an area in your car which would most likely be a ground, like some sort of metal column or screw going into an area which you think is ground. And when you hear a beep while it's connected to here and the point on your chassis which is a ground, then you know that's a ground. Take note of where the ground wires are, and then you're going to want to find the positive by putting your multimeter on the DC volt. Turn your car on and test which one has power, and then turn the car off and see which one has power only when it's on but turns off when the car is off. Once you've established the power lead that turns off when the ignition is off, you'll then put the black where the black needs to be, the red where the red needs to be, and then zip tie your wire harness on and you're done. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to pop back and show you how the install looks in my car. Okay, here's the back of the DIN connector for my mirror, and I first found the power. So I put it in one side, I touch my red probe on my meter on the volt setting, and the negative side I touch to a screw on the door hinge until, and I powered on the car, and immediately I got 13 volts when I power the car on. When I turn it off, there's no power. So that's the switching power. And then I progressively tried each one of the back of these pins until I found which one was the ground. And I knew it wasn't the ground if I would touch both the red and the black leads, and I would see no voltage. So now I found the ones that give me the power and the ground, and then I'm just going to pull this out, put my shrink wrap, heat it up, and put it back in these same slots, and then put a little cable tie onto the harness here, onto the wire itself, and then I'm done. Simple, easy peasy. Alright, so I have the leads and the main wire, and I use a soldering iron for the shrink wrap. I'm going to put the leads back in where I showed you before and give it a test run with my radar detector. This is now plugged into my Uniden R7. Now let's start the car. And there we go.
K-band.
It works a treat.
Laser.
So there we have it. hardwiring complete. Just gonna put the cable tie so that way this won't pull out of the harness by accident and everything will be good. And here we have it, the Uniden R7 mounted with a blend mount. This is the Uniden R3 blend mount, which again still works on the Uniden R7. And there's the power tap cable that I got from Blendmount. And as you see, when I power on the car, it's going to start up the radar detector.
X band, K band, KA band, laser, GPS connected.
So that cable is nice and hidden away. You don't see the cable at all when driving the car. It's nice and hidden. And if you wanted, you could just keep your radar detector up there all the time and never unplug it. But, although of course I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, it's great. Highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me.